And this is the trip that is feminism, right? They have this picture of like ancient times where women were just slaves to men, but they weren't. They weren't property, they were partners.
Right. Well, apart from that time when women were indeed sold as property, and even today, women, and in particular indigenous, minority, and women of colour, are bought, sold, and traded the world over. Women make up the vast majority of victims of modern slavery, of forced marriages, and the majority of victims of trafficking. So let me just go ahead and say the quiet part out loud for you. That you believe it's ancient history since Western women have been treated as property. But even that's not the case. In 18th century colonial New England, when a wife left her husband's household due to cruel treatment, husbands adopted the speech of outraged property owners, demanding that their spouses be returned to them, or they be allowed to rid themselves of these disloyal and obstinate dependents, sounding oddly similar to the petition of plantation owners, which is hardly surprising since under New England law, entering into marriage meant that husbands owned their wives' labour. He also controlled her property and had wide discretion for punishing her corporally. In fact, spousal abuse was not a crime, and wives could not leave their marriage due to abuse. However, a husband could collect damages if somebody else injured or seduced his wife. And why would that be? Well, if you vandalize your own car, there's no crime. It's your property. But if somebody else vandalizes your car, then that's a crime and you are owed damages. The law quite literally viewed wives as their husband's property. And while states began to enact domestic violence laws throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries, they regularly went unenforced. It wasn't until the pressure of second-wave feminism through the 60s and 70s that got them to be taken seriously. The 70s is also when marital rape started to finally be outlawed. The 70s is not ancient history. Depending on your generation, that's maybe you, your mother, your grandmother, possibly a great-grandmother. But it is within living memory. And this is the trip of misogyny. It tries to convince women who have lived this, who have personal experience firsthand, that it never happened. It's not just wrong, it's incredibly irresponsible.